How are the kids going? Are they okay? Whoops, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. All right, I think that we are live. So hopefully the messages that anyone sends will come up on the screen. But I've got Facebook open as well still. So for anyone who hasn't seen Tara and I talking before, because we did do a live last year, this is my cousin, not immediate first cousin, but whatever it is, second, third, once removed, whatever, extricated, manipulated, I don't know. So I've been so lucky to work with you though, Tara, because especially last year when I was feeling pretty isolated anyway, and just trying to juggle 50 million things all at once, you were able to help me just focus and then get through all of that. So the skills that you've had in that space are going to be so valuable for people now. And then also you've had experience with homeschooling. So with all your beautiful kids,
Mm.
hopefully you can share some wisdom. So can you tell us all a little bit more about what your experience has been already in doing that?
Yeah, sure. So I have 6 kids for those who don't know, to put it into a little bit of perspective. But my oldest is at uni, um, and she's actually gone back to college because no one's there, so she can like smash out her study. So that was good.
Yay, good.
Very distracting at our house with all the other younger ones running around. So I've homeschooled the kids on and off over time, like as needed, because as a lot of people start to realize is that the school system doesn't always accommodate everybody's needs. And if your child's the one whose needs aren't getting accommodated, you're sort of a bit fucked. And so you can easily end up, I mean, I know people who, when I've met them, they just think homeschooling is, kids need to learn to go to school. They need to learn the discipline and the routine, and it's good for them. And, home's isolating and all that stuff. But as you can see on the
Mhm.
isolating thing, everyone's already getting really creative with keeping connected with people. So you can imagine, when you're homeschooling, there's this whole other world of creativity that's going with being connected with other people. So they don't miss out on that, at all. My friend Leilani that's staying with us at the moment, really close friend, she was at a virtual bar last night with her drink, sitting in the living room with friends. And then my daughter had a girls' chat. They made a time. They were meeting up with their friends online, having, roller skating, showing each other roller skating tricks.
Really?
Take long creativity to set in. But and so that's one thing. Like, you just start having this ability to all of a sudden the four walls are gone, literally and metaphorically, and it takes a little while to let yourself move out beyond those four walls and think a bit more creatively and look at things a little bit differently. So I think the first thing is, where everyone is right now, is just to pause, let the agitation settle, let the anxiety settle. There's a daughter of mine and a cat.
Hi.
So right now, immediately, there's not really a lot to do. Immediately, there's, yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later. Immediately, the first step is to actually let those four walls drop away. Let that the inside the box, the outside of the box thing. And that just takes, and everyone's, there's so much overwhelm, so much agitation, so much confusion. And
Yeah.
people are scared if they don't have the money for their rent.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of fear around at the moment. So immediately is to let everybody calm down. And start feeling a little safer, and start letting those four walls, the structure that we normally live in, just start to soften and melt away a little. And then the creativity will come after that. So my first bit of advice right now, and so if I backtrack that a little bit, when people take their kids out of school because it's not working, usually the child has become very anxious.
Mm.
for whatever reasons, and so there's a thing called deschooling, which happens before homeschooling. And deschooling means just stop. Don't try to educate your kids when you're in a state of anxiousness and the child's in a state of anxiousness. Because we all know we don't learn when we're in a state of anxiousness, we learn when we're in a state of calm,
Yeah.
right? So the first thing is to actually just, give yourself a breath and a break and just let yourself settle a little, the agitation, the fear, let those four walls drop away a bit. And then as you allow that calming to happen and that space for that calming, then the creativity will start to come out. So you're
Well, that's
almost
really,
waiting
yeah.
for that to happen rather than try to push it. And if I bring it back to, for our, what we've been going through in our personal family. So my husband passed away on the 1st of December suddenly, and we've been in lockdown for the last 3.5 months anyway. We haven't been socializing a lot. We haven't been going out a lot. But we have had contact with people, and that's the thing that's going to change right now. So we've
Mm.
sort of feel like we've been in lockdown
Yes.
already. But the thing about that too was not to rush the process of feeling agitated, angry, fearful, grieving perhaps for our old way of life. Are we going to get that back? What's it going to look like afterwards?
Mm.
Okay. And so my first thing is just to let that settle and let those constraints or that matrix that we normally live in start to melt away, and then the creativity will come up. And the creativity is the key. And that is what
Mm.
is about homeschooling. And there's a big difference between distance education and homeschooling. And distance education is where all the work is getting fed to you by, the Department of Education, every single assignment. And homeschooling is you're educating your child through life, you know.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
that's the first thing. So I'm not sure if anyone has any questions or comments about that.
I
Um,
haven't seen any come up in the Be Live, but let me just see if I can find us on this other screen and see what's going on. It's kind of lucky, I think. Oh, yeah, there we are. Deschooling, Audrey said, thank you for mentioning this. And then she said, most homeschoolers I know are hardly at home. um, I'll just say, let us know. Oh, can I? Phew. I was going to say we're kind of lucky that it's school holidays sort of first at the start of this, or they were so close that people will probably start off by going into a little bit of holiday mode and then try and
so
pick up.
our holidays are a bit different. So we've still got 3 more weeks of school.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so I'm sort of envisaging at least 5 weeks of, you know, shut down because we've got 3 more weeks with 3 weeks of school. Please stay at home if you can, according to our premier, and yours, and then 2 weeks of school holidays after that. So yeah, so the first thing is just to stop and breathe and take a break and look after yourself while you're anxious and agitated, and your children are not going to fall behind at all. And you meet homeschool kids, and I want to give you actually a couple of examples of fucking amazing homeschool kids.
Yeah,
And remember, I cannot remember her name. Maybe you could Google it for me.
yeah.
The teenager that sailed around the world by herself.
Okay, let me Google because I can't
I
remember.
read it in a book.
Sailed around the world.
Australian girl that sailed around the world on her own at
Yeah,
15 or something.
she's coming. Ellen MacArthur,
Is it?
maybe? No.
That doesn't
Uh,
sound
no, that doesn't. Jessica Watson. That's the one,
Jessica.
isn't it? Yeah.
So she was homeschooled, and so she had a lot of extra time to focus on the thing that she loved. And her book is actually a really great book to read if anyone wants a read. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of book reading happening right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things was that she spent so much time. They used to jump in a boat and go off with their friends and have camp on an island and come back. And so the academic side of homeschooling, it's really not a 6 hour day, which I think a lot of people think, oh, I've got to like have my kid in this, school routine for 6 hours a day. And you really don't. So the academic part, like how much time at school your child is actually engaged in their own active learning, is probably going to be an hour and a half or 2 hours, maybe 3 hours if you're lucky. So when I was
Okay.
homeschooling my son, we used to do 8 a.m. till 9:30 because he worked best early, which is one of the problems for school. By 9:30, he was already disengaged, whereas at 8 o'clock, he was really motivated. And so he used to do like 8:30 to 8 till 9:30 or 8 till 10:30, and then he was off on his bike.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing, is that the amount of actual book work that needs to be done is nowhere near what people think it is.
Yeah.
And so you start doing, and it's just one-on-one, so they can just get their needs met. So it's actually really
Yeah.
efficient, much more efficient in a lot of ways, although obviously they get other things at school. But one of the
Mm.
benefits of homeschool is that efficiency with the academic, that one-on-one, their own learning time. So
Yeah.
you don't
You're not waiting for the teacher to come around to you or something like that, you
need
know.
to settle down when they get into class and out of class, and the teacher to come to you, and the teacher doesn't have to explain things in all the different learning styles for all the different kids in the class. It's just how your kid learns, if they're good at bookwork, if they rather be in the kitchen cooking and then just reflect on it, that sort of stuff. So then the next thing from there, so it's really important that the academic time, the one-on-one time, it really doesn't need to be hours and hours at all.
Mm.
It no longer needs to be between 9 and 3. So you might find there's particular time that your kids are really want to do something, like finding the rhythm for your family is the key as well. Like I said with my son, he was 12, year 6, and so he used to get up. He was still a real early riser. He used to make breakfast for everybody, French toast and
Uh-huh.
bacon, lovely
Ooh.
kitchen. And then at 8 o'clock to like 9:30 or 10:30, depending how much he was into it, he would do his work. So he was smashing his book work out really early in the day. So again,
Yeah.
it's those four walls, that matrix that we're used to living in. Let that drop away, and the creativity will come, and finding a rhythm that works for you and your family now is going to be a really important aspect of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. So Audrey's just written to, she said, I read an article written by one of my friends that um, that says homeschooling can happen in 2 hours a day. It seems from my observation that filling the rest of the activities is a large planning task for parents and can get expensive. So do you have any suggestions there? No?
Another reason why a lot of people homeschool is because their style of education is a private education. They can't afford it. So there
Yeah.
are schoolers that are on a tight budget. The activities can be cooking dinner. I tell you a really good thing for probably 10-year-old, 8-year-olds up, and teenagers. We've been doing the Barefoot Investor, um,
Mm.
and
that are
kids are doing,
the
and it has
activities can be
weekly.
I
Hang on.
tell you
Um,
a really
oh, it's doubling back there.
Sorry, I doubled up. Yeah, yeah, because I was trying to respond to Audrey. But anyway, keep going.
So, yeah. So I can't remember what I was saying. Lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Barefoot
The,
Investor you were
yeah,
doing?
the Barefoot Investor is like, if you're looking for things to do, it gives these weekly jobs. So one of them is learning to cook a nutritious, low cost meal.
Ah,
Meal. They're supposed to do the shopping right now. They might just write the shopping list, and then
yeah.
you cook with them, or if they're older, they can do most of it themselves. And there's so when you're doing homeschooling, it ticks so many boxes cooking a meal. So I've actually, I said to someone the other day, the Barefoot Investor book would be a really good thing to grab to help, get those activities going. So really, you can get activities going that the kids love that are contributing to the household. So it's just
Mm,
like living. instead of learning about life. So we have, I'll see if I can show you. I went and got compost and worm farm yesterday, and we're doing a market garden. There's my pile.
Yay. Oh,
Soil. So we set up a worm farm and got the compost going, and the kids have been reading and learning about composting and so that's like a whole. Oh, this is Aisha, another
hi.
child. So she's like a little koala, literally.
Yes.
Sweet. So come up with activities that they love that are going to be, contributing, that they love to contribute to the family. I can't tell you how much they love to feel like they're a contributing member of the family. And when I do energy healing, it's like one of the base chakra energies that is like, we almost can't live without, is feeling like a valued contributor to our community.
Yeah.
So the kids, we've been doing the worm farm. Stop it. Cooking. They're writing books. They're making books. So coming up with a project that, with them. And they can even just write a list of all the things they like to do and then try and make up a project with that. So one of the things that we did that, and one of the things that came out of that is, this sort of virtual disco where all their friends put their roller skates on and get on Zoom together and talk. So homeschooling, the main thing is to create a rhythm for your day. So don't try and make a routine. And everyone that has worked with me know I'm all about rhythm and not routine. So it's the breathing in and out of activity, of quiet time, of communication and socialization and reflective time. And actually just finding that rhythm that works for the family. And taking your time to, I call it breathing into it. So, when you're feeling, you don't want them to feel stagnant at home. You don't want them running around crazy at home. That's going to be awful. We're lucky we have a big backyard. But maybe I'll make a roster for people to come and run their kids around my backyard who don't have a backyard. Am I allowed to do that?
I don't know. I think so. As long as they're like one at a time, 2 meters apart or something.
But then there's not 8 of us now. Everyone's not here. There's 6 of us in the house, or 7 at the moment because Leilani's staying with us. So, is that just finding that rhythm for the family, the breathing in and out? And again, it comes back to let that old matrix go of the 9 to 5, the 9 to 3, which never fucking worked for anyone anyway. Or you finish work at 5, but the kids finish at 3. Whose idea was that? So breathe a new rhythm right now, which I actually, on a energetic, esoteric point of view of what's going on, I feel like that's what's going. We're all meant to be breathing into a new rhythm within ourselves. So, that rhythm is really important. And then it might formulate a little bit of a routine, but think rhythm rather than routine.
Yeah.
And getting a little bit of activity, of communication, of family coming together, and a little bit of that finding things for people to do that are nice and quiet. And once they breathe in and that, you'll find that the kids are much more relaxed to go and be settled. You've noticed that with your, over time, haven't you, with working from home? You were talking about that today.
Yeah. And I think I was just thinking while you're talking, like I was talking about just having a bit of a routine, but I do like the word rhythm, and it's even just getting into a pattern of, finding a pattern that works. But it has to work around the household and each person's context because every household is going to be different.
Every house is different, and I think a lot of people are going to find if you allow this to happen, that the kids really thrive.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's going to be about us all trying to just stop controlling, or just letting go of so much stuff, and then recentering.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
So, so I don't know if there's any other questions around the homeschooling. So find a really good time. So don't fight your kids to sit at the bench at 10 o'clock and do their bookwork. Find the time that really works for them. I mean, my little one, she's been waking up at 7 going, can I do my work now? And I'm still in bed going, ah. But, so that's actually, I should be getting up. That's actually the time where she's ready to just do some writing. She's been wanting to write, my 8-year-old, at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and then my other kids are doing different things at different times. So, I think that's, take your time to let the old matrix drop away. That thing that tells us it's got to be 9 to 3, it's got to be 9 to 5, it's got to fit into this box. Drop the idea that it's got to be a 6-hour day somehow. It's really, I think, hour to 2 hours book work. It depends on the age of the kids. It's more efficient at home. So it's definitely going to take a lot less time at home than what they do at school. And I think that's one of the things that people feel like people say to me all the time, oh, I couldn't homeschool. There's no way I could, they wouldn't listen to me. I wouldn't be able to do that all day. And I'm like, we do book work from 8 till 9:30 and then we're out on the bikes or snorkeling or something, or bushwalks. So while we can't do all of that now, I mean, different people are in different situations as far as being able to, how much they can get outside and get around with the kids and all that sort of thing. But I think, the kitchen garden is a great idea. What is it that you have been wishing that you could do that you could start, working on now in that extra time? And the kids really grab those things with both hands and run with it once you get the right thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's just finding out which is gonna work, and it'll take trial and error sometimes, but, if you know, I mean, you'll get to know and figure it out.
Don't rush it. Don't rush it. They're not going to, they're not going to fall behind. They're just not going to fall behind because you could keep going through the school holiday. If these 2 weeks are missed, this is where the government messaging sort of, I find it a little annoying. So if we didn't do schooling for 2 weeks and then they did little bits through the school holidays, do you know what I mean? Like, have the school holidays now.
Yeah.
Have school holidays now, extend it a little bit, and then when everyone's feeling calm and everything, let's get back to doing some work and just rearrange the rest of the year's holidays to, there's the creativity needs to set in, and the creativity comes when the nervous system is calm and you're in the present moment.
Yes. Yeah,
Actually, the key
exactly.
to this.
Yeah, I think that's how I can't see anyone else's comments. I'm sure there are more, but I was just thinking maybe we should do like a series, Tara, through the next couple of weeks or something and respond to anybody. Is there any way, would you like to do something that will help set parents up in that kind of new frame of mind to release
So
everything?
already on it. So
Yes.
I'm running a 14-day program. It's free, or you can pay something small if you can. So you're totally welcome. If everyone signs up for free, that's okay. So it's going to be starting on Friday. 14-day program will be like a half-hour Facebook Live each day in my Facebook group, The Whole Woman Revolution. I'll send you the link and you can post it. So in that, we work on these 3 areas. We're going to work firstly on calming the nervous system, calming everyone down, coming back to our bodies, feeling in the present moment, and refocusing back to the present moment. The second step is going to be reprioritizing and creating that rhythm for the family and that breathing in and out in this new sort of space and supporting each other with that, with ideas and everything. And then the third stage, which is my favorite, is the mystical side of things right now. Like, I feel like in this moment in time of things sort of imploding, collapsing, pausing, whatever word you want to use, right?
Mm.
There's an opportunity for us to plug in our ideal outcome for the other side of this. I think on
Exactly.
an esoteric level, that there's an opportunity for all of us to get clear within ourselves and express out if, even like I was talking about the school day not matching the work hours. What would
Yeah.
be fucking awesome? What would be ideal afterwards for us as women, especially? Because,
Yeah.
a lot of the construct is around, has been set by men around men's rhythms and not necessarily around ours. And we're trying to squeeze ourselves into that. But I think for everyone, I feel like there's been so much praying for change, so much praying for the environment, so much praying for women's rights, the Me Too movement, for men, for everyone to be healthy and whole
Yes.
with each other. So that's going to be part of the process is a little bit of magic out there. And in this, I feel like it's an opportunity to really be clear on what we would like to see in our sort of on the other side of this, and to plug that in. So that's like a
Yeah.
bonus.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
creating. So it's going to be refocus, reprioritize, recreate, and it's going to be 14 days starting on Friday. And as I said, it's free, or if you can and you're in a position to contribute something small, I'll send you the sign up link. After you sign up, there's just a PayPal option for like $10, $25, $50. But as I said, if everyone signs up for free, I'm actually cool with that because I can do that right now. So I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think you're kind of you have always talked about think about the vision of what you want and then take those first steps just one at a time so that you don't get overwhelmed to try and get to that outcome. And it's more about the feeling that you want to feel at the end or like the general energy that you want at the end
Yeah.
rather than like a material thing.
That's
So,
right. So
yeah.
right now, what would be if you were told you were going to get 2 months off, so to speak, or 2 months at home
Mm,
in a in an ideal space, how would you like that to feel?
mm,
Do you want that to be? Do you want to get some rest and recalibrate and restructure? And I know there's a lot of people really stressed about money. So
mm.
saying, if you weren't stressed about money, if you weren't stressed right now, how would you love to feel while you're at home with your family? And you got to start there to just
Yes.
start. And then, so what's the first step that you're going to start to take? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. This is really good. I think, yeah, well, hopefully everyone will sign up to your program because I think this is actually going to be valuable for men and women. But I don't know if are you going to be opening it to everybody
Yeah.
or is it more, yeah, cool. All right. So I'll pitch it that way when I share it around. And yes, it would be so awesome if we can see it more as an opportunity than as a gloomy,
So,
awful time.
maybe, yeah, I might open up a separate Facebook group for it out of the Whole Woman Revolution. So then it is just open to anybody. Yeah. It's called
Yeah.
Thrive Collective. We're going to thrive as a collective. That's my overall. Yeah.
Yay. I'm so excited because I'm definitely going to sign up. I miss your program so much. They're, they're
Oh,
just the
you're
best.
doing. I see you and other people just like, just getting up and doing something every day and just getting yourself out there and just that gently keep going,
Mm,
you know, keep stepping forward. Like you said, just that one, just focus on that one little step at a time. And if we can't bring it back around to having the kids at home for homeschooling, there's no rush.
yeah.
I just call it absolute BS on the kids are going to miss out. They're not. They're going to
No,
do amazing.
it's just
They're going to
different.
do amazing. We're going to see our kids do amazing things in this time if we allow ourselves that space to breathe into it. Yeah.
That's it. I think that was the main thing I was thinking when Audrey first asked last night to think about it. I was thinking, well, it's a chance for them to properly get to know us as people rather than just people who shuttle them around all over the place,
Mm,
and remind ourselves that we're rich people in ourselves and have so much to offer to the next generation. And what did we learn from people like our grandparents? I'm like, when I say that to you, I can picture the people that we learnt from and some of the personality types and all that kind of stuff, which we could talk about. And like, hopefully, there's something we can learn in that all that. Um, yeah, but it's a nice chance to engage on a really meaningful and deep level, and
yeah,
yeah, and
that's
grow
right.
together as a family unit.
But
Yeah.
let the initial shock subside first.
Yes.
Don't There's no rush. Don't try to start doing things while you're in shock or fear. And I know people are because, the we're not quite sure. I mean, Centrelink's crashing. So even if
Yeah.
you're eligible for those payments, people are still feeling fearful that they can't get on to the computer. So just let that all subside before you feel like you need to rush anything. And there
Mm.
was that full list going around. Did you post? I post shared it. I think you might have shared it. I'll send it to you of just like, a little bit of reading every day, a little bit of cooking, a little bit of exercise. So if you don't have an outdoor area, my kids we do like push-up challenges, and we've got one of those pull-up bars that hangs over the door
Oh.
in the hall. Pull-up challenges, we have push-up challenges. We actually do that sort of stuff all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So you can make a little circuit around your house that's age appropriate and, you know,
Yeah.
work out. So,
Mm.
so just that's the thing. We've got to allow that creativity to come up, and it's not
Yeah.
going to come feeling in shock and fearful. And what I was going to start to say earlier is I've, really felt this process on a really deep level over these last few months of just, just sitting in it and allowing it to subside. If you fight it, it sort of takes longer.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you messaging me at some crazy hour of the night just saying that you've got to walk through the fire. There's no way
Yeah.
to kind of dodge it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Oh, the sun's moved.
Oh,
Mm.
cheeky son. All right, well,
Okay.
I better go, but thank you so much for taking the time. And yeah, let's keep sharing links, and hopefully everyone will find the
Yeah.
support that they need. And I'm so sorry to Audrey or anyone else who's asking questions because I can't open it up without the thing
Oh,
starting up and the chat function's not working in this program and blah, blah, blah. So I'll work on setting up a better system in case we can do this again.
let me have a quick look on my phone.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Um, oh, no, it's not coming up on there.
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out. We can always do typed out
Oh,
responses and
if there's questions, just send them to me and we'll answer
all
them
right.
on Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay,
awesome.
darling.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
All
Have a
right.
good day. I'll speak to you soon.